Welcome back to Murder with the Missus. I'm Darren.
And I'm Amy. And today we're going to tell you about Alison Botha.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out the description for the links of all of our podcast platforms, Cash App, and Buy Me a Coffee. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends. Hello, everybody.
Hi,
Welcome back to the podcast. Today we have Alison Botha, or as I pronounced it, was Botha.
I said Botha.
She said
So
Botha.
we
So
had to
I think
Google.
either way, I mean, but I think the correct way was Botha.
Botha. Yes.
So.
Now it's been a while. Are you ready for a survivor?
Yes, I am.
Okay. This is the big trigger warning one too for gruesome stuff, along with sexual assault. So you have been warned. We've told some doozies on here, and this is one of two survivor cases that you just can't shake in my mind. Once you hear it, you remember it because it's so dark and wild that it sets up shop in your brain. Both of them do that, but there's something, or not both of them, all of our cases do that, but there's something about these two that for me was just really bad. And we'll tell you about the other one at another time. Today is about Alison, and it takes us all the way back to 1994, which seems like yesterday to me, but apparently it was 30 years ago. So.
Yeah, the 90s stuff is coming back around.
That's true. I keep seeing all these, like it's retro or something. It's wild. I know.
Yes.
Heavy sigh.
Yeah, we're retro.
We're retro. Ugh, it's just so sad.
Yep.
Now, 27-year-old Alison had been born in Port Elizabeth in 1967. So she was very familiar with the area. She hadn't stayed there her whole life, though. Her parents would get divorced when she was 10, and she lived with her mother and brother for the most part. She was head girl at the collegiate high school, which, according to Google, means that she had an acting role as a role model and representative for the entire school. Head girl is typically chosen based on their leadership qualities, academic record, and involvement in school activities. So you represent the school at public events like opening days and prize-giving ceremonies, school visits, things like that. And they're also a bridge between students and administration. So it sounds like it was pretty easy for her to then travel after getting her education. Like she was used to being around people, different types of people doing different things, kind of being the eye. She traveled for about 4 years before returning to Port Elizabeth. She ended up getting a job as an insurance broker, and she really liked it. Like she found her stride. Now buckle up. It's December 18th of 1994. So this is summer in South Africa. Alice spent the day at the beach with friends, and then they all went to Alison's apartment to wind down and hang out. They reportedly ate pizza, played games, and then everyone left except for one person. She ended up taking her friend home, and then she came back to her apartment. She reached over into her passenger seat after she parked because she had some clean laundry there that she wanted to take inside. But as she reached over, she felt a rush of warm air.
Did the door open or something?
That's exactly what happened. Someone had opened her driver's side door.
Okay.
A man with a knife. He ordered her to move over or I'll kill you. She did as she was told, and the man got in her car and drove off. He was a talker too, I guess. He was just like trying to keep her calm. He told her his name was Clinton, telling her he didn't want to hurt her. He just wanted to use her car for an hour. He drove them to another part of Port Elizabeth where they picked up another man. And that's when the niceness stopped. While Clinton was alone, he was trying to keep her from fighting or yelling or trying to get away by talking normally to her. And that felt like a tactic. But once second dude was in the car, the conversation turned dark. They told her they were going to have sex with her and asked if she would fight them. Of course, she said no, because she's in survival mode now. They had driven her out to a remote location on the outskirts of town. They sexually assaulted her and then tried to suffocate her. She lost consciousness, but was still alive. Now, once they thought that she was dead, they started using their actual names and were speaking in Afrikaans, which is their native language.
She was able to hear them and hear what they said and everything.
Right. So once she came to, she could hear them talking. So she heard their names.
Yeah.
And she knew what language they were speaking. So she knew where they were from. But she was also hearing a wet sound because they were stabbing her. And then her leg twitched and they saw it. In her own words, quote, "All I could see was an arm moving above my face, left and right, and left and right. His movements were making a sound, a wet sound. It was the sound of my flesh being slashed open. He was cutting my throat with a knife, again and again and again," end quote. She said it felt unreal, but it wasn't. She said, "I felt no pain, but it was not a dream. This was happening. The man was slashing my throat." The men stood back, looking at what they had done, and she hears, "Do you think she's dead?" And the other one responds, "No one can survive that." They got in Allison's car and drove away and left her laying in the sand and broken glass. But she's not dead. So she figures that she needs to leave a message for the police. So she writes in the dirt the real names of the men and then, "I love you, Mom."
So she still got her wits, about her.
Yeah. She still got her wits about her.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
She's a badass. And as she looks over, she can see headlights through the bushes. So there's a road. She needed to get to that road. So she tries to get up, but her head falls backwards.
What do you mean it fell backwards?
She quickly realized that she had almost been decapitated. So her head couldn't stay upright on her body. She had to hold it in place with her hand so she could see in front of her where she was going. Yeah. She also felt something was sticking out of her stomach, and she realized she had been disemboweled. So she had to get her denim shirt that was laying next to her with her other hand and use it to hold her intestines in place in her stomach.
Good night.
Yes. Yes. Bro. Now, before we get into the rest of this, I think we'll go ahead and hear from our sponsor so that we don't have to stop.
Did you hear what happened last night at the laundromat?
No, what?
Some clothespins held up a couple of shirts.
Oh, God. That's a good one. Now, when it's cold outside, do you like to pull out a pair of warm sweatpants straight from the dryer and put them on?
Yeah, that's nice and cozy.
Wouldn't you rather do that at home and not in a laundromat?
Oh, God.
If you live in an apartment and need a washer and dryer that only you can use, get a pin.
You can go to My Laundry Solutions, the #1 choice for washers and dryer rental.
They're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Springfield, Joplin, and Kansas City, Missouri, Sherman, Dallas, Houston, and Lubbock, Texas. Their newest location is in Fort Worth. They have more locations opening in Texas in 2025 and 2026. No credit check, free service, professional installation, and your account's available online, all for about $1 a day. Go to your leasing office, go to mylaundrysolutions.com, or call 800-535-4411.
Stop being taken to the cleaner and give them a call today. Give them a shout.
Yes, give them a call. So Allison gets up and she starts moving. Now remember, one hand is holding her head in place. The other hand is holding her intestines in her stomach. Her vision was in and out, so she had a lot of trouble seeing where she was going. She said she fell many, many times, but she kept getting back up and moving towards that road. And she finally made it there. She made it all the way to the white line, figuring this was the best chance of her being seen by passing cars. And then she collapsed. A car came along, saw her, and then left.
Really?
Really?
They're like, nope, not today.
Not today. I'm not your guy. But a second car came and it stopped. Tion Ellard was a young veterinarian. Now, as an animal doctor, he was in Port Elizabeth on vacation from Johannesburg, and he was out with friends. But he ran up to Allison and started trying to figure out what the hell he was looking at. He would later say that God put him on that road for a reason. He helped try to render first aid, right? Because he's a vet. And so he tucks her thyroid back into her neck, while a friend that was with him used their cell phone to call emergency services. Now, remember, this is 1994. So cell phones were not as widely carried as they are today. So the fact that the car that came across her not only had someone with a bit of medical knowledge, albeit animal medical knowledge, it's still knowledge, and someone with a cell phone at the same time, like that in itself is a miracle. Because time was of the essence for her. And it would ultimately take emergency help another hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes to get to them that night.
After all that, she had to wait for almost 2 hours.
Yep. Just laying there on the side of the road. There were so many times in this night that could have done her in. So many things that were against her. And she still powered through. She said, quote, "I realized my life was too valuable to let go of. And that gave me the courage to survive." End quote. And she had a lot to tell people when they got to her. She remembered just about all of it. She was only missing the part at the beginning when they choked her and she lost consciousness. She was awake for the rest of it. She was able to give them the names of her attackers, and she was able to pick them out of a photo album. Police knew exactly who they were. Franz Dutoit and Theons Kruger. They had a history of violence against women. In fact, they were both out on bail at the time for sexual assault. Bro. They had apparently had...
Franz Kruger.
Franz Dutoit?
Freddy Krueger.
Dutoit.
Kruger.
Franz Kruger, yes.
Put them together.
We'll just make them one person.
Freddy Krueger.
With their blades. Oh.
Anyway.
The way you made that work.
I'm just saying.
That mind. They had apparently had 2 prior attacks involving sexual assault, and both were in that same year. One was in February when a 20-year-old woman was sitting in her car outside of a pizza parlor, and Franz did the same thing that he'd done to Alison, except he had a gun this time. But he forced her to move to the other seat of the car, got in, and took off. She used the tactic of talking about herself, humanizing herself. He did end up sexually assaulting her, but then he drove her to a cafe and bought her a sandwich and a rose. He talked to her about his sister, ironically saying he would kill anyone if they assaulted her. He then drove her somewhere else and assaulted her again, forcing her to tell him that she loved him. Then he left her at a hotel telling her, "You're an amazing person, and I hope I can make it up to you sometime."
Psycho.
She obviously reported it, and he was arrested. He bonded out for South African Rand of 100 ZAR, Z-A-R, which in American money is $5.58.
So he bought a sandwich.
Fucking astonishing. Probably didn't cover that rose, though. Then on December 4th of that year, just 2 weeks before the attack on Alison, the 2 men both attacked a 21-year-old pregnant woman. They talked about killing her, even pointed their gun at her stomach, but ended up deciding to let her go. Now, as she's leaving, trying to get back to home or wherever she was planning on going, she saw a police van and she stopped and reported the attack right then and there. So they arrested them again. But hold on to your butts because they were released the next day on their own recognizance.
Oh, what is happening?
I know. And it's...
it's just like, they're repeat. It's repeat offenders.
Yes.
And they're just like,
Yes.
Go ahead.
You're good.
Yeah.
You don't even have to pay bail this time. Just go. Keep your $5.
Yeah.
It's a much different issue over there in South Africa. So for these 3 women to even come forward was a miracle back then and probably still today. When all of this came out after Alison's attack, the prosecutor in the second case said that they didn't know about the first one. They're like, we didn't even know that they had already been out on bail.
Sure.
They didn't know that they had a prior offense for the exact same thing that they were in trouble for this one. But
Sure.
The issue to me is that someone can be released OR on any sexual assault charge. That's outrageous. Now, Theons was only 19 years old when they attacked Alison. Franz was 26. So they decided they had a better chance if they started with questioning Theons first. They told him that Alison was alive. He was like astonished that she was alive. And they told him that she remembered everything that happened. So while they both were in shock when they found out she lived through it, Theons decided, well, there's no sense in lying. So he told them everything. He gave them the rings that they had robbed off of Alison and started talking. Said they were having a barbecue at Franz's house and they were drinking beer. But there was some friction between Franz and his wife, so the men left the house. They drank a 2.5 liter of sherry and decided to find a beautiful girl to assault and kill. But they weren't having any luck, so Theons gave up and went to the club. Franz kept hunting until he found Alison. After the sexual assault and strangulation, Theons asked Franz if he thought she was dead, and Franz said, "Let's find out." And that's when he started stabbing her in the stomach. Now, he liked it, the way it made him feel, so he kept going. The doctors say that she had been stabbed up to a minimum of about 36 times. Because it's hard to tell with stabbings. Theons then took out his hunting knife and drew it across her throat. Franz pushed him out of the way and kept cutting her throat deeper and deeper. Doctors say that her throat was cut about 16 times that they could count. So when she was saying, all I kept seeing was an arm going back and left and right, 16 times. Then they went on, drank more beer, and went to sleep. Theons even gave them the knife that they used. And Franz gave them pretty much the same story. So.
And these type of people are just out in the streets.
Yeah, just living their lives. So be aware of your surroundings, people.
Yeah.
And this time, for Alison's attack, they didn't get bail. Good job. In August of 1995, Franz ended up getting 3 life sentences, and Theons got 1 life sentence plus 25 years. Now, Franz did say at one point that he was possessed by a demon, and he asked for an exorcism. And they gave him one.
Telling you, don't go to sleep in South Africa.
Nope.
Old Franz and Kruger will come get you. They'll get you in your dreams.
Yes.
Yeah. Exorcism. Yes. Right there. Right there. Demon.
Oh,
fucking demon in them.
Get out. Alison understandably had quite a few surgeries immediately after this. The vet that helped her that night left her a cactus with a note saying, "You're the bravest person I've ever met," before he went back to Johannesburg. Alison was able to walk a couple of steps by Christmas, and she just kept progressing. She was one of the first sexual assault survivors to publicly identify herself in South Africa when she started telling her story to the public. She went to 35 countries telling her story. In 1995, she won the Rotarian Paul Harris Award for Courage Beyond the Norm and the Femina magazine's Women of Courage Award. She was Port Elizabeth Citizen of the Year. She wrote 2 books on how to be a badass, and in 2016, her story was made into a movie called Alison. And even though she felt like they were hell-bent on destroying her reproductive organs, she has 2 sons now. And in a happy twist, Theons, the vet, actually went on to be a people doctor, and he helped deliver one of her sons.
Nice.
Right? Full circle. And I would love to end the story there on a high note. But Alison's story is not over yet. A psychologist assessed Franz and diagnosed him as a psychopath and narcissist, showing no genuine remorse, saying he was considered unlikely to rehabilitate and was a danger to society. Well, no shit. But what do psychologists know anyway? Both men were still paroled on July 4th of 2023.
There's no damn way.
100%. 100%. They sure were.
Wow.
Alison didn't find out that they got parole until they were already out. She put on her Facebook, quote, "The day I hoped and prayed would never come. When I was asked, how will you feel if you ever get parole, or if they ever get parole? My immediate answer is, I always hope I'll never find out." But on February 4th of this year, 2025, the South African government website reported, quote, "The Minister of Correctional Services has canceled parole for Franz de Toy and Theons Kruger. Both individuals have been reincarcerated and will remain in custody."
Good.
Yes.
Good night. Give her some peace at least. Good night.
Yes.
Gee whiz.
So they let him out for a couple years and then was like, "No, we're going to go ahead and take you back." Ugh. And Alison's days of fighting are still not over, unfortunately. On September 25th of 2024, Alison suffered a massive aneurysm. She had to be taken to a public hospital where she spent 3 days before being sent to Cape Town State Hospital for brain surgery. Then she was taken by helicopter to be closer to her family for recovery. One of the doctors, when she was in Cape Town, actually recognized her because she had spoken at his high school when he was attending school there. The aneurysm left her with a weakened left arm and leg, needing speech therapy, and she has a permanent stent in her skull to drain fluid. She spent 2 months away from home, and she wasn't alone, though, because someone helped getting her house ready for her to recover. Like, they came and installed handrails and things like that while she was gone. So she was still having a good support system after all these years. She has had to relearn how to make simple things like a cup of coffee. And she is working on recovery every day. She's still fighting every day. Ooh. I don't know what that was. There is a Back-A-Buddy international crowdfunding account set up for her to help with medical bills and her recovery. It is well beyond the goal right now, but expenses will just keep coming. So we're going to link that page in the description if anyone has the means to help out with that.
I mean, she's been through a lot.
More than you would think a person could take.
Man, I mean, there's just...
It's like hit after hit.
You want to talk about miracle?
I told you.
That is it.
Yeah. I told you this was going to be dark. She's seen some shit. Oof. I've got goosebumps. But she's staying strong. So keep sending love her way, guys, because she needs it. And that's all we have on this case.
All right.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Nope. Keep old Franz and Kruger locked up.
Yeah. Don't let them out. Don't let them out.
Yeah.
Now, if you do like our content, please show us by sharing, subscribing, all the things.
And as always, don't forget to tell your friends because they deserve to hear us too.
They do.
So, till next time, we'll see you.
Bye.